What is up, guys? Zan from the Zan Madden YouTube channel, and I have heard the call from you guys. You want more content dedicated to beating cover 3, and in particular, those deep out KOs that so many players like to run. Regardless of the defensive formation, dollar, 6-1, big nickel over G, you are going to face the deep out KO meta. The most popular blitz right now is the free safety zone blitz out of dollar, with a special amount of KOs on the field to make sure that you guys can't really exploit the deep sidelines or the seams on the field. But that's where they're wrong. In fact, I have dropped arguably the best offensive vault update of the year over on gridirongameplans.gg. If you guys are not subscribed to the website, now is the time to head over there. You guys are going to unlock nearly 190 vault tips alone, 9 offensive and defensive game plans, and members only Discord access for just $9.95. And we have lab sessions in that Discord every week at no additional charge, where you can ask questions to get better at the game. But in the vault update that I am dropping today on the website, I'm going to drop a crazy library of one-play touchdowns against the coverage that a lot of players swear really doesn't get bombed this year. In fact, we always have that sky till we die method in Madden, where players will just sit in cover 3 sky, kind of wait for the AP to get where it needs to be, and then run the KOs everywhere. And the game is tough offensively to kind of move for chunk yardage at that point, and now we're at the point where we have hit that. So make sure you guys check out that vault update. I'm going to give you a tiny morsel here today. We're going to be breaking down a couple of short motion concepts out of trips formations that I think you guys are rather going to like. You guys can run this out of arguably tray Y flex. Really, it's going to be best out of a formation where you can motion the outside receiver and snap him right away. So if you guys are running like trips tight end, pay attention to on-off alignments from your outside receiver. Tray Y flex is perfect for this particular method, and we're going to show you guys a couple of route combos that you're going to really like here. So now, for this to work, I will say you probably do need to either pay attention to stock routes on the plays you call, or you might want a hot route master. So kind of saying play call doesn't matter, because there are going to be the routes you're looking for in the Tray Y flex. But let's start off with our first one, which is going to be a short snap with a corner pull. So as you guys know, in Madden, the outside thirds are kind of drawn regardless of whether or not your opponent has match on or off on default to play corner routes. And the big thing with this is that you're going to really need to have a way to use those corner routes to your advantage as pull routes. A lot of players are lost if they can't throw the corner route. The truth is, you're going to be better off if you can actually throw the corner route out there as the pull route to open up your deeper shots. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put our middle receiver on a corner route. I've chosen to play scat here because it has a nice little deep stock crossing route to Pickens that's going to kind of work as a post. He is going to be a player that is going to impact the middle third defender in that middle deep zone. Now with this, we're also going to run a runoff route to Shannon Sharp. You guys could do whatever you guys would like with the running back. If you guys feel like you need extra protection, feel free to block him. If you want to leave him on the table route, feel free. In routes, out routes, Texas routes, delay curls if the user bails out of the middle of the field. That's a sneaky route that a lot of players don't run. But what we're going to do here on this is we're going to use this fade to Megatron. Now, depending on what your opponent is doing with their settings, it will not matter. We're going to have a one-play touchdown, just to be clear. But if your opponent does have a stock setting for their zones, they will have zone chuck. So I want you to watch what Larry Fitzgerald does here in terms of that curl flat. You see how it gets a little bit of a chuck on him? We're actually going to utilize a motion where we're going to try to get this purple zone to jam the wrong player, meaning that he's going to jam Pickens instead. We are going to motion Megatron inside to make this curl flat slide inside, and we're going to snap the ball so he is forced to jam or just give a free release to this X receiver. And this is going to allow us to throw the seam down the middle of the field with an outside release. Now, for those of you that are wondering, I play on far freeform settings. You guys will be able to do this on near as well. It is that open. The cool thing is that typically we use a streak to pull for a corner route. This is what we call swapping, or a switch concept, where we're using the same route combo, but we're switching the player that is pulling on this play. So in this case, we're actually using a vertical pull and a horizontal pull at the same time with this corner. This creates crazy width in a giant lane for us to be able to throw this fade down the middle. Now from here, the player that we have to worry about is the middle third defender. Now, I'll be honest, in this example, I didn't really do the best job of putting him in conflict, but it was enough because we have the crossing route to Pickens, and we have the seam to the far right that makes him play in between the hash marks. This is enough of a lane for us to throw an outside pass lead and rip it for a rat catch. And you see that even if they had a knockout, they're not going to touch us from behind, and we're able to walk in for the touchdown. So let's go ahead and run this again here. I'm going to go ahead and put X on a fade. I'm going to put Y on a corner. Now, if you want to, feel free. You can put B on a streak. The thing that you need to be aware of when you put B on a streak is that it will make that middle third play a little closer to that streak. But what it does is it allows him to kind of get out as the pull route. And then you're going to have this lane where you can kind of freeform down and outside. You see right there that the KO ability does not get to that throw in that area of the field. So your opponents are going to have to worry about manning this route up individually if they want to stop this. Now, of course, there are other means to kind of pull with this. One that I'm actually a fan of is the actual Hot Route Master crosser. So if you guys are running Hot Route Masters, you can modify this setup to look like this. I think this does a pretty fantastic job of making that middle third kind of drift over to that right side a little bit better. If not, and he kind of bails, you're going to have this throw. And you see right there, it's going to beat a KO on the short side of the field. So you can throw that crossing route as well. Just kind of up to you and your own personal preference. But this is kind of our first setup that you guys are going to be utilizing with this. Now, this next one is really, really cheeky, okay? This is going to involve a little bit of motion snap timing. But what we're going to do is we're going to introduce the comeback route, but not in a way that you would imagine. So one of the things that, obviously we were just talking about with a cover 3 based defense is that if I were to use a comeback route and then maybe have like a seam or whatever, crosser, whatever, the purple zone is kind of an issue, right? We want him to not jam Fitzgerald because that's ideally the route we want to throw. You see that he gets this reroute. Now, again, I can still throw this, but that reroute is an issue. I don't like the fact that I don't get a free release. It takes longer. The pass rush can shed. Little things like that can definitely hurt the effectiveness of this play. It is still a good route combo. Because of the way that they do get that jam, that makes the safety in the middle of the field drift further to the right. And then he becomes a vertical threat after that chuck, and we can throw this to the outside. And you see that we're able to fit this in. Now, the thing about that is that with this particular call, we can still do this motion switch or motion swap and still pull the zone in a very similar fashion. So let's go right back into that cover 3 buzz spy. We're going to use the comeback route to X. Let's go ahead and put Y on this fade, and then we'll put this streak out there again. So with this particular call, there is the chance that sometimes the zone kind of breaks the way you saw right there, and this breaks down our route combo completely. One of the things that you can do in trip sets that's really intriguing is notice how Fitzgerald, if I take a look at his hot routes, he's got the slot apprentice hot routes. He's got crosser, post, corner, out and up. When you motion a player, this actually is going to change Larry Fitzgerald's hot routes to outside receiver routes. Now, if you guys set up your entire route combo before the motion, this is going to make a lot of sense. What we're going to do is we are going to put a fade to X. We are going to leave our crossing route to B. We are going to go ahead and have the fade, whatever you want to do, fade wheel down the right side. But what we're going to do as soon as this motion occurs, we are going to put Y on a comeback route and snap the ball when he's in the slot. So Y becomes a pull down threat. And now we have the opportunity to maybe throw the ball to X. Now, depending on your route combo here, this is going to allow you to kind of open up that same outside pass lead. One of the things that you should always pay attention to is sometimes you're going to man up this middle receiver. A lot of times in trip sets, they will do that. And this is problematic because sometimes you'll have the zone beat, but the man sticks with the route. That's the touchdown. In this situation, what we're actually going to do is we're going to put a streak and a fade on the field. You can do really whatever you want. Again, does not matter. We're going to motion. We're going to immediately put Y on the comeback route and snap the ball when X is behind B. And now we're looking for our outside pass lead to X. And you see that that KO ability cannot get backside to defend this particular route. So this is kind of an interesting way of making this work. So I hope that this is something you guys will decide to add into your offense. Again, this applies to nearly any spread out trips formation. I just want to show you real quick one more example here. We'll go into tray open offset, kind of set up the same premise here. Again, we will put A on a crosser. You can do whatever you want to kind of manipulate your outside thirds. Again, just kind of doing this little motion and immediately putting right bumper on that comeback route. This is going to allow you to really open up that outside lane to X. And you see right here, I can throw the free form. We used a post from the right side to hold that middle third defender, and it's a touchdown. But there you guys have it. Simple timing-based routes to beat outside thirds and middle thirds for one-play touchdowns. Doesn't require anything crazy. I do have a lot more setups over on Gridiron. As I mentioned, that vault update is going to go insane. I've got some quick snap options, some no motion setups. I've got some really, really awesome stuff that's going to help you guys out. So make sure you guys go check that out. But I'm out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Until next time, this is Zan. Get in the lab and good luck.